let's just take stability. Let me just take that word for a second, okay? And here it's really mind blowing, man. So, um, okay, currently, you and I, everybody else, anybody listening to this, we are sitting in the flow of energy. That's what makes up the universe. We know that now. Okay, right? But you could also say it's the flow of information because energy is information. So it's the flow of information, right? And then just imagine that flow of information having different octaves, like music, right? And it's all good. It's all music. It's just the lower octaves are unstable. They're not stable, really. Right. So any system that's stable, right? It's free flowing. You know, it has this right. It has a balance of negative and positive, right? Like electricity flows, it requires stability, right? It requires ground, right?
Yep.
Right.
In a circuit.
So for us, that starts with the body. So the body is the instrument for us, and the more you understand that, the more we approach it, the more we understand what to do, what I really want to say what practices to engage in, but it's really about if we know how to relax, then that encourages the body to rebalance, which is naturally rebalancing the negative and positive dynamics in the system. And then you could say, as that occurs, it gives that body access to higher information, higher intelligence, right? So the past for us, essentially at the deepest level, just means that there's a body that is shaped in a way that is only really aware of lower octaves. I know that sounds wild. It's just, it's just the truth.
Well, and I think, and if I fuck this analogy up, by all means, correct me. But I think we can, something a layman way to say that is just when I go to work a new job, I don't know how to do what the manager knows how to do, or his manager, or the CEO. I don't know what any of those people know how to do, and I can't walk in and think I can take that guy's job because that's silly. And if you think that, you're silly, and it's why you're not the CEO yet. You there's so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
you got to learn what the first guy does and the second guy does and the third guy does before you can become the fourth guy.
Experience,
Yeah, you've got to have
experience.
experience,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's what you're saying. And we can go to the grave without experiencing any of this. And if we look back generationally, we can see our ancestors did it. So it's not that you can't go from cradle to grave and never spend time on these things, but you you can also look back and think grandparent, great grandparent was always on a different. They were on some different shit, and they didn't have as much conditioning as we have, and so it's a little hard to see exactly, because grandma may have seemed happy uh, catering to grandpa. I don't know, but today's female's not going to feel happy catering to male. It's not going to happen. But they didn't never even, my grandfather, I'm thinking about my grandfather right now. If I'd have talked to him about emotions, he'd have slapped me and said, "What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't talk about my emotions." And, if you see me smile, you'll know how I feel. Like, if you see me scowl, you know how I feel. And he didn't have emotional regulation, I think. And I think that it was, that man dealt with some hard life. And Um, I think that he was not emotionally regulated at all. He had a great life. I think he had an amazing life as far as the external goes. I think he was impactful to our society. Um, I'm proud to be his grandson, but I don't think that's what the whole Senate, what we're doing here. I don't think that that's the key. And they were so much more building a society starting in the early 1900s. They were still building what we're currently living in with no understanding of what they were doing. And I'm sure we're doing the same thing. We're building the society for the next generations. We don't see where it's headed.